Hey, it is Sue Rogers here from Sue Rogers Unedited. Who has seen the movie Oppenheimer? I just went and saw it over the weekend. And you guys, it's a good movie. If you haven't watched it, I'm not really going to spoil it for you, but I'm kind of going to spoil it from you. But it's based on history. So it's not like I'm spoiling something that you probably learned at some point, maybe in a history class or not, because honestly, I don't remember learning this in school, but high school was a long time ago for me, and I don't remember much that I learned there because it wasn't important to me. Isn't that funny that a lot of what you learn in school is not stuff that you're passionate about or important to you? So the minute you're done learning it, you don't care about it and it is gone. There's like minimal things I remember actually learning in high school. That's a topic for another time. However, I wrote down something in my notes in my phone. Like, this is how I come up or remember a lot of my podcast ideas, is putting a note in my phone. And I put, the enemy is the hate in your heart. So I'm going to get into that. The enemy is the hate in your heart. So Oppenheimer invented the atomic bomb. And unless you've paid zero attention to world history, the atomic bomb was used and killed tons of people, innocent people. What happens in the movie is, well, and probably real life, let's be real. We go to war, and at war, we want to win the war. What the fuck are we even fighting for in any of these wars, by the way? Which, have you not gone down the rabbit holes yet? Please go down the rabbit holes of how war basically is just big business for government and they're making money off of it. And you guys, I'm not a big fighter to begin with, but I can't imagine that any of these wars were ever really necessary. Like, if you just talk to people, really fucking talk to people to try to figure things out, like, I don't know. I don't get war. I don't understand it at all. Because is really anybody the good guy? Like, I'm watching in the movie all the USA people cheering about the bomb being dropped, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, how the frick could you cheer knowing that it's killing innocent people? And who says we were the good guys? Listen, I wasn't there. I don't really know, but I don't see how decimating an entire area, all the population included, is right. So really, like, we have these enemies. You guys, honest to God, I don't feel like I have enemies. There's people I don't care for. Maybe there are people who would be gunning for me. I don't know. There's nobody that I am gunning for or going after to try to do anything to. I'm just trying to live my own freaking life and be surrounded by people that I love and things that I love and feel good in my own body. Doing the right thing, having integrity. But enemies, I mean, maybe I have some, but I don't even know who they are because I don't care. If it was really something that's that big of an issue, friggin' talk to me. I may still not care after you talk to me, but I'm not physically or intentionally trying to do anything to hurt anybody. And guess what? Your feelings and your reactions are solely your responsibility. Somebody's out there doing something and maybe there's intentions of it to hurt me. I can only let it hurt me if I choose to. Okay. I can also choose to recognize that hurt people like to hurt other people. And that has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with you. If someone is trying to hurt you, but they're a miserable person to begin with, they're just trying to share their misery with you, and you have full control of whether or not you're going to play along with that stupid game, or if you're going to say, meh, I don't want to be a part of that. So your enemy is truly the hate in your own heart. If you don't allow hate to live in your heart, it is so peaceful and freeing. And you guys, like, there used to potentially be hate and anger that I would allow to live in my heart, but I hated how that felt. I do not like the feeling of hate in my heart or in my soul, and so I don't participate in that. You have to release it. Let it move through you. Like if you start to feel hate or anger or any kind of emotion coming through you, don't numb it with alcohol. Don't numb it with junk food. Don't numb it with avoidance. Sit with that uncomfortable shit in your heart and your soul and process it and release it. You want to know, like, how do I not let things get to me? Hey, you've been through certain situations. Like, you seem like you just don't care and you bounce back really quickly. Well, yeah, I lived through a bunch of crap, but I follow this philosophy, and a lot of it has to do for me personally with faith. I pray a lot. I give it to God. I let it release from my body. And then I move on. So if you want to know how I managed to get through things, that's a huge part of it. Huge part of it. But I actually allow it to sit in my heart, let it float around in my brain, and let it bounce around in my brain until I make the connections of either what I'm supposed to learn from it or what it might really mean. The enemy is really only the hate in your own heart. So this movie, history, they asked this guy to create the atom bomb, and then they get mad at it for him later. Like, you ask this guy to create this thing that's going to change the world and kill so many people, and then you're going to get mad at him later. You'll have to watch the whole movie or read a history book or something to find out. But how do we know what they told us in history is really that 100% accurate history also? But the point is, how awful and ugly are people to ask somebody to create something and then attack them after they've created it? And then you guys, we're not doing any better. The more history that I read, not from what I learned in high school, the more history that I read, the more books that are potentially banned books that I read, the more things that are like kind of out there that challenge everything that I've learned that I read, bring me to the conclusion that society as a whole is not any better, not any smarter than we've ever been. Sure, we have new technology that's extra fancy that nobody had before, but mentally, emotionally, like psychologically, we are not doing any better. Potentially, we're doing worse because, I mean, here in the US, we're the sickest we've ever been, but we have the best healthcare system, and it's not a healthcare system, you guys, it's a sick care system. We're not doing any better. Now, I'm not trying to like bring gloom and doom here, but I'm trying to say, like, pay attention, because what we can do is try to do better. Make an attempt, whatever small way you can, because the more of us that make small attempts to do better and bring better and more goodness and less hate to the world, the more it will ripple out and have a positive impact. I don't know if you just heard how loud that car just went flying down my street was, but positive impact. be aware, pay attention, process it, release the hate, let go of that enemy called hate in your heart, and move on. And then maybe we can do better and be better, or at least start that chain of events rolling for our kids and for our kids' kids and for their future. All right, Oppenheimer. It was a fantastic movie. I would go see it if I were you, if you haven't seen it yet, because just overall, it was a really, really good movie. Other than, the doom and gloom, but it was a good movie. I would recommend it. All right, like, subscribe, follow, share, reach out to me. Facebook, Instagram, Balanced Day Life, my website, www.balancedaylife.com, and carry on.